Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Pistons Talk Podcast presented by FanDuel. I do apologize that I am, almost a half an hour late. Someone had asked me for assistance on kind of like a video editing question, and I took like 20 minutes of my time just to kind of help them out. Always say do at least one good deed a day, pay it forward. But let's get into our post game show. I see someone here has never caught a post game show before, so let's break it down how we kind of go over these post game shows. So we're gonna be going over our quarter notes. After we're done with the quarter notes, we get into the box score, team stats, and then we open up the show to an open forum, comments and questions. So if you have any comments or questions with this Pistons versus Lakers win, leave it down below in the comment section, and we'll have a fun podcast on this Monday night. But let's get into our quarter notes with the Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers. So, Pistons host a red-hot LA Lakers team. They were winners of 9 straight. Pistons were winners of 3 straight. Both teams very early on in this game struggled to score. This was looking like it was going to just be a defensive battle. At one point in this game, it was like 7-7 with 6 minutes to go. Both teams just really struggled early on. I got to give a shout out to Tobias Harris, especially in the first quarter. He was looking to be aggressive. He was looking to score. And you love to see that by your veterans on this team, stepping up when Cade and Stu and Marcus Sasser aren't available to play. And I thought he did a pretty good job on LeBron James. There was an instance where LeBron actually did jam his finger, and it was bothering him until like about the third quarter. And LeBron didn't score in the first half at all. Pistons actually set a record for that. We'll kind of get into it when we get into the second quarter. Kevin Huerter had a dunk, and there was no whistle. He clearly got fouled by Austin Reeves. But the very next play, Luka Doncic got rewarded a 3-point shot on Ron Holland defending him, even though Luka kind of created the contact. But, it's Luka. The refs are going to call that for him because he is a superstar. Ron just did not have a good first quarter. He picked up 3 fouls in 2 minutes of action, which I think the last time Ron played Luka, I thought he did a pretty good job. But the Lakers were able to have a 4-point lead after 12 minutes of play. It was 27-23. Luka did head to the locker room. He was kind of limping off the court. And he did eventually go back to the Lakers bench in the second quarter, but he didn't really come back until like midway through the second quarter. And as we have been kind of talking about the second quarter, Pistons were able to score 5 straight points. There were 2 free throws. DeAndre Ayton just hammered the hell out of Karis LeVert. Hit him on the head with a flagrant one. And Kevin Huerter, the very next play, had a 3-point shot. And it was a 5-point swing for the Pistons. And the second quarter for them hasn't really been a quarter where we feel great about. It's been the third quarter, but tonight it was the second quarter where they played great defensively. Asar Thompson and Javonte Green did an excellent job of guarding Luka and LeBron. The Pistons went on a 17-8 run after Karis did get whacked in the head. And Danius Jenkins was just hitting his 3-point shots, assisting, getting into the lane. We'll talk about him towards the end of the podcast. But the Pistons' 3-point shooting in that quarter was excellent, and they were able to drop 65 points on the Lakers after 24 minutes of play. So 65-52 was the score going into halftime. Coming out of halftime, the worst quarter of this game for the Pistons, it kind of allowed the Lakers to get into a lot of transition opportunities, letting him get back into the game. Like the Pistons had a 16-point lead at one point, and it was just the dribble penetration that Austin Reeves was getting. He didn't really score too much, but it was probably his best quarter of the entire game. He started getting going. Luka Doncic was getting going. He was getting into the paint, and there was a lot of opportunities for the Lakers with second chance points, getting offensive rebounds with Jackson Hayes, and the Lakers went on a 20-6 run with a 6 minute time span, and they got within 6 points of this game. And defensively, it was just really sloppy. There was multiple possessions where we just weren't closing out on 3-point shooters, like a Luke Kennard, like an Austin Reeves. and the Pistons were able to at least keep a lead. I thought they were very fortunate. 89 to 87 was the score after 3 quarters of play. Getting into the fourth quarter, we did a much better job of operating out of the half court, I thought. And when there were opportunities for the Pistons to run the floor, I thought they did a much better job of executing that. The defense of effort, in my opinion, was much better than it was in the third quarter. The third quarter was really sloppy. I thought the fourth quarter defense was similar to the second quarter defense of, just getting after it. But the Lakers were able to get to the free throw line a lot in the fourth quarter. Some of it was foul baiting, some of it was us just fouling. But as we kind of get later into this game, because there were multiple ties, there were multiple, lead changes in this game. Lakers take their first lead the first quarter, so it was 108 to 107 Lakers. JB took a timeout, and full transparency, this play was for Tobias Harris, but the Lakers knew that. They cut it off. So Danish Jenkins has the ball, drives, and Jake LaRavia follows him. And very smartly, Danish Jenkins decides, I'm just going to throw a shot up so I can go to the free throw line. He hits both of his free throws, and up to that point, he did not attempt a free throw. So very clutch for him to give the Pistons a 1-point lead. So it was 109 to 108. Lakers take a timeout, and the play that they draw it up was for Austin Reeves. He scores. So there's around 20 seconds in this game. And again, Danish Jenkins, dribble penetration, just hits this tough fadeaway corner shot, gives the Pistons another lead, and the Lakers bring the ball up the court. I thought the Pistons defensively did a really good job in the last few seconds of this. Jalen Duren, shout out to him, man. He was right in front of Luka Doncic. Luka tries to, just heave this prayer with the 9-game winning streak on the line, and he was not able to tie the game because at that point the Pistons had a 3-point lead after Danish Jenkins hit his free throws. And the Pistons win this one 113 to 110. New career high for Danish Jenkins. Pistons extend their winning streak to 4 games. They snapped the Lakers' 9-game winning streak, and it was just a hell of a game by the Detroit Pistons. I think a lot of people going into this game nationally were kind of picking the Lakers to win this game. Even like sports books, like I know on FanDuel, before the game, they had the Lakers as a 2.5-point favorite to win this game. And as the game got closer, it was only a 1-point favorite. But I think they knew this was going to be a game that went down to the wire. But just a gutsy win by the Detroit Pistons. You had no Cade Cunningham, obviously, no Isaiah Stewart, no Marcus Sasser, and guys like Danish Jenkins, Jalen Duren, who we'll get into the box score in a little bit. He had a really efficient game, especially from the free throw line. They just stepped up. And that's a really red hot team right now. They've been playing really good ball. But your next game, you have another team that has been red hot in the Atlanta Hawks that you have seen multiple times this year. And it could be possibly a first round matchup. So that is something to keep an eye on this Wednesday. And I believe it's going to be an ESPN game as well. But I want to get into the box score and get into just everyone that contributed in this one, and then we'll kind of end the podcast with our Q&A and just have a chill rest of the podcast. So let's go to the starters. So Tobias Harris, 32 minutes, had 14 points. He was 5 out of 14 from the field, 2 out of 5 from 3, 2 out of 7 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Finished the plus minus with a +0. Duncan Robinson in 28 minutes had 12 points. He was 4 out of 10 from the field, 4 to 9 from 3, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, -1 in the box score. I know coming out of halftime, he hit like 2 threes, and I thought he was just going to heat up, but after that, he kind of cooled off. Jalen Duren, like we were mentioning. So in 33 minutes, he had 20 points, but he only attempted 9 shots. He was 5 out of 9 from the field, but he was perfect from the free throw line, 10 out of 10. 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. He was a +6 in this one. You can drop 20 points and only attempt 9 shots. That's a very efficient game. Helps that he did make all of his free throws. So shout out to Jalen Duren for that. Star Thompson in this one Only scored 6 points, did have a rough shooting night. He was 3 out of 11 from the field, 0 for 1 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block. I thought defensively, though, he did as well as you could against a guy like Luka Doncic. I felt like he could have been more aggressive at times, but he wanted to stay in the game. You could see it like in more games this season. We've seen him be more aggressive defensively, but I think he understood like kind of gambling for a loose ball or steal. It was more important for him to at least play more than 20 minutes. He had 36 tonight, which haven't seen a star play 30 plus minutes in quite a long time. So I thought he was really crucial in those minutes tonight. Danish Jenkins in 39 minutes. He dropped 30 points, 11 out of 18 from the field, 4 to 5 from three, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and all those came in the fourth quarter. 4 rebounds, 8 assists, only 2 turnovers, and he was a -5 in the plus minus, but career high 30 points. He has just stepped up past 2 games. He had 23 points against the Warriors, 30 points against the Los Angeles Lakers. I know a lot of us have kind of talked about just like the slump he was in, the struggle that he was in. I think it's safe to say that slump and that shooting struggle that he was kind of going through the past month is over. I mean, you just dropped 23 on Golden State. Obviously, it's no Steph Curry. I understand that. But, you just dropped 30 on a team that has won 9 straight games. And we know the Lakers are not a good defensive team. But, 30 points is 30 points in the NBA. So shout out to Danis for dropping a new career high against the Lakers. Paul Reed in 15 minutes off the bench had 8 points. He was 4 out of 7 from the field, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was a -3 in the plus minus. Ryan Holland obviously did not get to play. Only scored 2 points in 5 minutes. He was 1 out of 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. He had 1 assist. He's a -6. Javonte Green had a very good game as well. I thought him and Sar Thompson did a very good job on LeBron James. 15 minutes, 6 points, 1 for 1 from the field, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He led the Pistons in plus minus tonight with a plus 14. Karis LeVert in 17 minutes scored 8 points. He was 3 out of 7 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. He was a -2. And Karis was kind of sporting a new hairdo. It kind of threw me off because I saw him with the fro because he's had braids all year. I was like, who's the new guy? But it was Karis LeVert. So rocking the fro. I dig it. Kevin Huerter in 20 minutes scored 7 points. He was 3 out of 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. He had 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals, plus 11 in this one. And obviously, Tolu Smith and Jazz Lanier did not play. They were DNP coaches' decisions, and you were without Cade Cunningham, Marcus Sasser, and Isaiah Stewart. But just a hell of a win by the Detroit Pistons in this one. As we got to get into the team stats with the Pistons and the Lakers. Lakers shot a better percentage tonight. They were 38 out of 79. They shot 48%. Pistons shot 45%. They were 40 out of 88. Lakers shot only 28% from 3. They were 8 out of 29. Pistons shot a very good percentage from 3. They were 11 out of 26, and they shot 42%. As we look at the free throws, the Lakers did get to the free throw line more times than the Pistons tonight. They were 26 out of 31, and they shot 84%. The Pistons shot a very good percentage from the free throw line, which you don't see too many box scores when we're going over them where they're shooting 92%. They were 22 out of 24. So just winning on the margins helps out a ton when you do get out rebounded by the Lakers by 2, 39 to 37. As we look at assists, Pistons had another game where they had 30 plus assists, so 31 to 27. They tied the Lakers with steals where each team had 6 apiece. Lakers did have more blocks, 6 to 4. Pistons took care of the basketball, only 11 turnovers to the Lakers 13. Points conceded off turnovers. Pistons had 18, Lakers had 17. Fast break points, Lakers did have more. They were 16 to 10. Points in the paint, the Lakers actually beat the Pistons in that category. I can't really say that too often this season. 58 to 48. And the Pistons had 23 fouls to the Lakers 18. And there was 1 technical foul from the Lakers and 1 flagrant foul. And the Pistons stayed out of kind of technical foul trouble and flagrant foul trouble, which I am very surprised because if you looked at the officials' for tonight. Natalie Sago is not really the most consistent ref, but she was officiating, and John Goebel actually. So John Goebel was the official that ejected Star Thompson. I believe that was the Dallas game, if I do remember correctly. That was months ago, so he has not officiated a Pistons game in quite some time. But I do want to get into the Q&A of this podcast. I've rambled on enough. Let's make it about you guys. I want to get into Morphus. So he said this was a great win by the Pistons, and I'm a big Danis fan. I think this game proves Danis should be in the starting lineup, bring Duncan off the bench, and play Danis at the 2. He needs minutes. It's funny. I actually got a comment from somebody on Twitter, and they asked me, can Danis be the long-term 2 next to Cade? And I think the shooting guard conversation is such an intriguing conversation. And I'm glad you brought it up, Morphus, because I don't really know what direction they go in, right? Because obviously, we wanted that 2 guard of the future to be Jaden Ivey, and we traded him. We have Duncan, and he's kind of been the shooting guard all year. And obviously, we have Duncan in there for floor spacing. We know defensively, it's not great. He's a traffic cone at times. Danis has been thrown into, shooting guard lineups when Duncan is injured. I think there are lineups where a Cade Danis does make sense. Is it an everyday lineup? I'm not sure. I'm not JB Bickerstaff. I still do think the Pistons do need to find a shooting guard of the future. Don't know if that's Danis. I like to think, this is just my opinion, you might have a different one, that for me, I really like him as a second unit point guard with the second unit. Not to say that he can't be in the starting lineup with Cade, not to say that they can't play off each other, they can't play off ball, because he has shown the ability to hit some really big shots. He's a really good 3-point shooter, but I still think they do need a long-term shooting guard of the future. I just don't think it's on the team yet. Now, whether that's in free agency, whether that's via trade, maybe it's in the NBA draft this year, I'm not really entirely sure. Maybe it's Chaz Lanier. I don't know. That'd be great if they're already on the team. Maybe it is Chaz Lanier. Even though we haven't really seen too much of Chaz, maybe he could be your 2 guard of the future. But it'll be interesting to see. You still have Duncan on this roster. You have Kevin Huerter. Do you bring him back? Who knows? I think those are a lot of conversations we're probably going to have this summer as we get closer to the free agency and the draft. And I can't wait to, have podcast discussions with you guys about that. But I do appreciate the comment, Morphus. Got me thinking already about offseason content. Love it. I have a comment. I kind of agree. Danis would be a better leader with the second team. Also, Tolu needs more playing time with Duren. So I want to kind of focus on the Tolu question because we just got done kind of talking about Duncan possibly coming off the bench, which I don't hate that. I think Duncan is versatile wherever you play him, as it does relate to Tolu Smith. Tolu's a great player. I had the privilege of covering him a lot when I did G League coverage with another company a few years ago. Kid's a really humble kid, works his ass off. And he's taken opportunities that have been given to him when the Pistons have had injuries this year. I think the Pistons really like Tolu. I think all of their 2-way guys that they're very high on, they're really high on Tolu Smith. They're very high on Isaac Jones, which I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Cruz. Actually, this clinched their first playoff berth. And I think over 5 years, Isaac Jones is a big reason for that. He's been going crazy for them, almost averaging 30 points a game. And then you have Wendell Moore, who's a 2-way guy as well, who was on the Pistons roster last year. So I like Tolu. I just don't really know, if you're going to see lineups with Jalen Duren and Tolu Smith together, unless you just want to describe all the rebounds and be big in the front court. But I do think Tolu will be on this roster. And I think, the Pistons front office and the organization, they're really high on him. He has really good footwork in the post. But I'm not really sure if he's an everyday player right now. He could be maybe a possible solution in the event that, something happens to Paul Reed, but that's like way down the line. I don't really want to get into that too much, but I want to get into other people's comments and questions about this win. DeBurris, great win. Atmosphere was crazy in the arena. Happy to see DJ get into his rhythm again. I want to ask you this question because I heard it on the broadcast. I could only imagine what it was like downtown. So, third quarter, like I heard so many Lakers fans just cheering "Let's go Lakers." When LeBron made his first shot, like the arena popped. I know going to Lakers games in LA because I do have friends that live out in LA that are Lakers fans, and they told me like the ticket prices out there are expensive. I know their last game in Florida, there were so many Lakers fans there. I went back and watched it earlier just to kind of see how the Lakers were playing and how they were doing. And it felt like a home game in Orlando, Florida. I did see a lot of Lakers jerseys on the broadcast tonight. It sounded like it was kind of like a 50-50. It was like 50-50 Pistons fans, 50-50 Lakers fans, but they were pretty quiet in the first two quarters. Didn't really come alive until LeBron scored. So maybe they're just LeBron fans, but the atmosphere in all these games this year, it's been like very like playoff like atmospheres with the Pistons, and you love to see that. Last time I checked, they were like top 5 in attendance, which you love to see. Kind of want to get into a couple more comments and questions with you guys. I do see a comment from Pistons fan 11 getting to Danis Jenkins. Dana said in his post game that he can shoot the mid range despite what NBA thinks of that, and you have to be true to who you are. Love that comment, and I think the mid range game should still exist. I agree with that, Piston fan 11. I know I was watching the same post game show you were, and that's like a part of his game too. Like he can shoot threes, he can get to the cup and get to the lane, but he can shoot mid range too. I think there's still room for mid range jump shots in today's game. I think a lot of people are just so hyper focused on 3-point shots and transition baskets and stuff like that. But like Cade Cunningham's a very good mid range jump shooter. You don't see it a whole lot, but in pregame shoot around, Jalen Duren, he can definitely hit some mid range jump shots. Danis can do it in game. And we've seen it this year of him hitting some pretty crucial mid range jump shots. That's in his game as well. I think we're very lucky to have Danis, and people got to start thanking Ben Carlone for that fine. A lot of people want to credit Trajan Langdon for that fine, but that's Ben Carlone from the Detroit Pistons front office. That was his fine before Trajan got here. He found Danis Jenkins, undrafted free agent, and was able to get him on a cruise contract, and then eventually we converted him to a standard contract. Got another comment. Great reps to prepare for the playoffs. Playoff rotations should be set by then. I agree. I think these last couple of games, we're starting to see experimentation with JB Bickerstaff. And I think there will be a shortened rotation. I doubt JB's going to play 12, 13 guys as we're matching up in the first round, whoever we get. I think I'll get a little bit closer to a 10-man rotation if I did have to guess. I just don't know who's going to be out of the rotation. I just don't know. It'll be interesting to see who kind of gets cut out of that rotation as we get closer to the playoffs. Danis is turning into a perennial 6-man of the year threat before our eyes. If he had more performances like this, Marcus, 100%. I think the slump a little bit kind of hurt his chances, but he's a great find. He's a really good story in the NBA. And I think a lot of people, especially Lakers fans tonight, they're going to be looking him up. I know Knicks fans think he only goes crazy against them, but, he went crazy tonight against the Knicks. He went crazy against the Cavs, if you guys remember, early on in the season where he hit like 6 threes in a row and had 20 points, helped the Pistons win a game against Cleveland in Cleveland. So, he's had games where he just goes absolutely off. We just need the consistency to be more there because, like, if you have a guy like that that's just a high riser in the playoffs and you have a guy off your bench that can lead the second unit, but not only score, but also kind of like facilitate and be that floor general. You're talking about a guy that's going to be very dangerous to deal with, in these playoffs. Um, what was that with the Lakers fans taking over? I really don't know, man. I really don't know. It was weird because um it was really quiet, and LeBron didn't score, I think, until the 3rd quarter, and, obviously, I do know that there are Lakers fans in Michigan that only come to, Little Caesars Arena once a year to go see, LeBron. I was even in an Uber the other day, and my Uber driver was, really excited because he said he was going to, the Pistons Lakers game because he wanted to see Luka. And obviously, Luka and LeBron are, draws to, go watch. Obviously, us being in Michigan and Detroit, we're ride or dies. Like, we love our Pistons, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wouldn't like to go see certain players. When John Morant, before he kind of had all his off the court stuff and he was just dunking everything, anytime the Pistons played the Grizzlies, like I was buying tickets because I wanted to go see John Morant because John Morant was just so fun and electrifying to watch. There's certain players that as Pistons fans, you have respect for, Anthony Edwards is one. I don't know if he's gonna play when he comes back to Detroit, but that'd be a game that I would want to go to just to see Anthony Edwards because he's athletic, he's gonna just have a highlight reel play and you get to watch good basketball at the same time, right? Um so I'll do one more comment, and this comes from Marquez, and he says, Danis Jenkins' struggles were due to hitting his rookie wall, and now he seems to have found his stride. It's funny. There's a lot of people that are trying to pinpoint why he was struggling. Some people are just absolutely extreme, and I'll just read you what I was scrolling on Twitter of Pistons fans saying. They say he only goes off when Cade's not playing, which I just don't think is true because we've seen games like the Washington game of recent memory when Cade shot 46 times and had 45 points. Danis was in that game, forced into overtime and won the game. Those two can coexist together. I just think he did have a little bit of a shooting slump where the ball wasn't falling. Pistons fans are really funny. They have a lot of recency bias. But obviously we'd like to see him, be consistent and go into April in the playoffs more consistent, finding his shot. And it seems like these past 2 games, especially against Golden State and the Lakers, he's doing well. 23-30. You can't be mad at that. But we will see you guys on our post-game show against the Hawks. That will be Wednesday. I'll make sure I start on time. We don't do it late like we did tonight. But again, the Detroit Pistons win this one 113-110. Squeaked one out against the Red Hot Lakers, snapping their 9-game winning streak. They play the red hot Atlanta Hawks. Hawks have been winning a lot more basketball games of late, so Pistons get to host them at home. Definitely can't wait to see how they attack the Hawks on Wednesday. But I just want to say, hope you guys are staying safe. Take care, and we'll catch you guys in the next post-game podcast. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.